Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports. We're your hosts, Zach and Jake Gardner.
Yo, yo, yo.
And today we prep for Fantasy Hockey Week 14. We're going to go over surprises of the week, top storylines, injury news, some buy low and sell high trade targets, and of course, scoop them up. And we'll also discuss the Week 14 schedule coming up. So thanks for listening, everybody, and let's jump in. So we'll go over the surprises of the week. I have a couple guys, a little bit surprising. So first, Matt Grizzlechek, defenseman on the Bruins. He went off. He had a 5-point game this week, 4 assists and 1 goal in one game, a couple of power play points, and he just did amazing when he's been kind of a no-name guy. Like, he's usually always a guy that is not super fantasy relevant. He's usually a streamer because he'll randomly have weeks like this, but he's never like a consistent player. But he would have made my scoop him up list, but he got hurt in the middle of the week, and he's on IR now. So yeah, he definitely had a great week. Finished like top 5 in our league in scoring this week. Curtis Lazar, forward on Boston, had 2 goals, 2 assists this week. Performed very well. I think he made like the top 15 of our scoring this week. And then Trevor Moore, who we're going to be talking about later. He is on a 4 games point streak right now. He's over the last few weeks, he's looking like a young breakout player. I've been eyeing him for the last couple weeks, and finally this week he made it onto our scoop him up list. We'll be talking about him later, so stay tuned for that. Though, and other than that, it's really like all the star players that you'd expect to see as like the top scorers. So those are all the surprises of the week. We'll move on to storylines. And I have a couple things that we can talk about. I have a couple articles from this NHL TradeRumors.com.
Okay.
So there's this rumor going around that the Florida Panthers are going to be at the trade deadline going after a top defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking about possibly going after Montreal's Ben Chiarot or Mark Giordano from Seattle, Jacob Chychrun from Arizona, or John Klingberg from Dallas. So I don't know how true any of this is, but if there's some truth to this, I really think that seeing Jacob Chychrun on Florida would be pretty crazy. And then he would immediately be a scoop if he's available on waivers in probably most leagues because he's been kind of slow this year.
Okay.
But he would immediately be fantasy relevant. That would be pretty crazy. Or John Klingberg as well. He'd do great in Florida. So those two kind of names excite me if they are going to go to one of those guys is going to go to Florida. We'll see. You never know from these rumors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be pretty crazy if they pulled off a trade like that and got one of those top defensemen.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't know all those names like by heart, so I don't know how big a star power that is, but
yeah, John Klingberg is perennially like a.
Oh no, I know Klingberg. Sorry. Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's how good he is. Jacob Chychrun was was a top 10 defenseman in our league last year.
Okay.
He's just a really good player, young player. And then I have another one here about Evander Kane. So there was a bunch of rumors floating around this week that Evander Kane was literally about to sign with the Edmonton Oilers. And then nothing happened, and I was wondering what was going on with that. I just found out that the Evander Kane signing is being delayed by a new investigation by the NHL. And we kind of touched a little bit on this last week. The San Jose Sharks released him and terminated his contract because of what I was mentioning last week. He tested positive for COVID and then was caught out partying. So now the NHL is reviewing that, and they're going to determine if they're going to suspend him anymore or something like that. So that's why he's not signing with the team right now. So Yeah, I think he is all ready to go to Edmonton. They're just waiting to see what the NHL comes back and says with this little investigation. So probably, hopefully by next week, or maybe sometime this week, we'll find out what they come up with, and maybe sooner rather than later he'll be an Edmonton Oiler, which would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, that'd make them even better.
Yeah, they'd be a pretty
Jeez.
damn crazy offense.
Yeah.
And then I just have another one here. There's been a lot of Jacob Chychrun trade rumors going around this whole season, because he's kind of like the last good player left in Arizona. And a lot of people were thinking that he should have been traded, a long time ago. They shouldn't have even tried to keep him. So there's a lot of rumors going around about him, and this article is talking about 4 teams that are really looking to pursue Jacob Chychrun. So the Anaheim Ducks are looking, Carolina Hurricanes, Los Angeles Kings, and the St. Louis Blues. Apparently they're really serious about Jacob Chychrun. So if he ends up on the Carolina Hurricanes, that would be pretty crazy. Because I wonder what they would do with Tony DeAngelo then. If Jacob Chychrun went there, he'd be the number 1 defenseman then. That would be a pretty insane trade. But yeah, those are looking like the 4 teams that are really interested in him. So that would be. We just got to see what happens with it. Those would immediately make Chychrun more fantasy relevant, and he would immediately need to be picked up if any of that's true. So
Gotcha.
yeah, those are some storylines.
Okay.
Move on to some injury news here. I got a list of guys in COVID protocol.
Yeah, Jesus.
Just going to run it down. Anthony Stolarz, Cam Fowler, Cole Sillinger, Matthias Ekholm, Andre Kasha, Troy Terry, Pavel Buchnevich, Alexis Lafreniere, Dylan Strome, Kirby Dach, Matt Grizzlechuk, Joel Eriksson Ek, Kyle Palmieri, Alexander Radulov, Nolan Patrick, Shea Theodore, Seth Jones, David Perron, Mackenzie Blackwood, Dennis Gurianov, Colton Parayko, Braden Shen, Damon Severson, Jesper Bratt, John Gibson, Paul Stastny, Jacob Chychrun, and the big one, John Carlson. All those guys are in COVID protocol, so a lot of big name guys that are definitely hurting you, I'm sure. And then regular injury news, big one. I'm really hurting from this one. Jason Robertson, he's out with a lower body injury. He's been one of my best players the last couple of weeks. He's just been on a freaking tear. I think he's on like a 10-game point streak or 11-game point streak or something crazy. The guy does not stop scoring. I just love this guy. But he's out with a lower body injury. TJ Oshie's day-to-day with the upper body. Rasmus Ristolainen, he's out, non-injury related, so probably be back soon. Sonny Milano, out upper body. Mike Smith, out with a thumb injury. Andre Palat, out undisclosed. And then Bowen Byram, out with a head injury. And this is not a new head injury. He's having lingering effects from, like we were talking about when Bowen Byram, he's been in and out of like the injury report like this whole season. Keeps having concussion issues, and he's had a lot of them in the past too. So this is like a chronic thing going on with him now. Apparently every time he tries to come back, he keeps having lingering effects of concussion. So it's kind of like a scary sounding thing with such a young guy. Like, this stuff can be career ending stuff, and his career hasn't even gotten really started yet. And he's such a young, promising player. It would just be such a shame if he has to, if he can't go, if he can't play anymore because of all these concussions he keeps getting, but at some point it's just too much stress on the head to risk it or something, So we'll just got to see. It sounds like it's pretty serious, but yeah, that type of thing. Like, there's been so many, especially in the NHL, a lot of careers ended early from concussions. So it's just one of those things. Got to be looking out for it. They aren't releasing a ton of information, but what they are releasing doesn't sound great. And then Vladimir Tarasenko, he's out, non-injury related, so I would imagine he'll be back soon. Cam Talbot out with a lower body. Jaden Schwartz out upper body. Brendan Gallagher out with the lower body. Sean Couturier out with an upper body. Tyler Toffoli, injured reserve hand. And then Josh Anderson, injured reserve upper body. So those are all the big regular injuries.
Hell yeah. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Always the best part of the episode.
Yeah, gotta love those injuries.
And then buy low trades. Brock Besser. He's back from the COVID list. Hasn't scored yet. He's played 4 games, but he could break out at any time. He was putting a little streak together before he got injured, and he was starting to bring his numbers up. He's a very high upside guy. He definitely won't cost much. I think this is a guy you go out and trade for. He could be an asset to your team heading into like the playoffs. So, yeah, he'd be a guy that I think most people should be trying to trade for him. I think he's a guy you want. Travis Kaneknee. He's kind of been stagnant for weeks now, but he's capable of a breakout anytime. You know, he definitely has a tendency to put the puck in the net. Don't think he would cost you a whole lot right now. I think you could go get him. He has a lot of upside to him. Young guy. I think that would be a good guy to trade for at this point.
Okay.
And then, anything to add to that?
I mean, I'm an owner, so
Yeah,
I'd look at offers. You know, nothing I could buy low right now.
right.
But
And then Nick Suzuki, similarly to Travis Konechny, young, kind of has star player potential. Player. He has the ability to go off at any point. This would be a pure trade for upside because he hasn't been doing too much recently. He's kind of been hot and cold this year, whereas last year he kind of was really good all season. This year hasn't really been the same. So I think he showed all last season that he can be a very consistent player. So I just think if he starts scoring, I think that he can be a good player whenever, he'll go on a big streak, and I think that'll get him going. I think there will be a streak or two coming in soon, and I think he'd be a good guy to trade for.
okay.
And then Jack Hughes, he's doing very well since his return from injury. He's slowed down a little bit this week, and it could be a trade that wouldn't cost you a ton. You might have to give up a little more than you would for like Suzuki or Kaneknee or Besser, but I don't think you'd have to give up like a whole bunch to get Jack Hughes, and he definitely has very high upside. He might have the highest upside of anybody in this buy low list that we're going to talk about. I really, really like this guy. He's starting to put it together. I think that this is a guy you can get now, and he can definitely be a guy that can help you on your way to a championship, definitely. And then Cam Atkinson. We talked about him last week. I still think you should be putting in offers for Atkinson. He's a guy who can really score a lot of goals. He's a good defensive forward as well. So he's one of those guys that if he doesn't score a goal, he never gets you nothing. He'll get you hits. He'll get you blocks. He'll get you shots on goal. Like, he does all that stuff. He'll get you defensive stats. He can be a great lower level player on a championship team. He would be a great move if you think your team has a shot. He would definitely put you over the top if you have a very deep forward team. He'd be a guy that you would want for sure. Someone at the bottom of your roster that you never have to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
And then Thomas Chabot. We've been talking about him a few times over this season. This is a great defenseman. He's been average at best this year. His numbers are slowly going up, but every time they go up a little bit, they go down a little bit. So it's just kind of he's going back and forth, but he just hasn't really been consistent so far this season. He can go off at any point, and he has the ability to be one of your best defensemen. He would cost a decent amount. Probably he would cost you the most in a trade out of all these guys, but it could definitely be worth it if he could still squeak into like the top 15 by the end of the season. I think this is a move you want to make for sure if you need defense.
Okay. For sure.
Any more buy lows that you're thinking about, Jake?
Oh God, like we've been saying the past couple weeks, it's just hard with everybody going in and out and in and out. I mean, Poink's been kind of down, right?
Yeah,
He's been,
Pionk.
yeah, he hasn't been too
Definitely.
good lately. He's been pretty rough. Only one
Yeah,
assist in the
I
past like 8 games.
yeah, I think Winnipeg as a whole has been kind of rough because they've had a lot of guys hit with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody's numbers have kind of gone down a little bit over the last couple of weeks on Winnipeg. But
So probably him and Pierre-Luc Dubois.
yeah, those guys. I don't know. I don't know about buy lows, but those could be guys you just want to trade for. I don't think they're buy low because
Yeah.
they're both still kind of doing pretty good. But definitely definitely guys you could definitely trade for and expect like star level play from. So that would just be like just a trade, just a regular trade, just trading for a guy. For definitely some more upside, but I wouldn't call those a buy low or sell high per se. I just call that like just trading for a guy that you want, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
Um,
there you go. There you have it.
yeah. And then I have a couple sell high trades. Kind of like the similar normal suspects on here.
Oh my God. Jeez. Give it up, dude. He's stayed consistent.
Yeah. So Devin Taves, I
He's a stud.
still think this is a guy you should be selling high. You should be definitely trying to get something crazy for him. I've been talking about this. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on Devin Taves. Everybody knows my opinion on it, but I definitely think you could be trading him for like a Victor Hedman or something crazy. Um, or just hold on to him and keep reaping the benefits of having him this year. He's one of the biggest breakout guys this season. And then Drake Batherson, I'm not a full believer in Drake Batherson. Uh, he's
Okay.
he's looking very good. He could be the next like star player in the league, but he just hasn't been doing much over the last couple of weeks. Like mainly over the last over the last couple of weeks hasn't really been doing too much. I would just see what you can get for him.
Mm-hmm.
See if anybody would take a crazy offer. If not, just hold on to him. He's definitely a surprise player for this season too. It's not like he hasn't helped people win games. I'm just trying to look long term, like over the rest of the season. I just think the guy is showing to be a little hot and cold. So it just would suck if he's on a cold streak and you're in the middle of a playoff matchup, And at that point, you're just
Mm-hmm.
stuck with him. So I think there's always stuff you can do. If I owned Drake Batherson, I'd definitely be shopping him around right now.
Okay.
And then I talked about this guy last week, Tomas Hertl. He's a good player. He's very, very streaky. He's always a guy that he'll always have like a couple, like 2-3 weeks. He'll be on a crazy hot streak and look amazing, and then he'll like not do anything for like the next month. This season looks like he's doing the same thing. He's in the middle of a hot streak right now. This is the time that I'd be trying to move him because he's about to go cold, and he won't be really helping you that much at that point. So this is definitely a guy to be shopping right now.
Okay.
And then Eric Carlson, having a good year, having a renaissance kind of. He's had a couple down years. He's just getting up there in age, and I don't think he's the same player he was like 5 years ago. Looking really good this season. I definitely think he's a guy that his numbers are good enough where you could trade him and get something good in return. I would just be trying to move off him just because of his age and injury history, and I just think this is a guy you should be shopping around, just seeing if people will take him off your hands,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all these guys definitely guys that are helping teams win right now. Not like these are bad players by any stretch, but I just think you can use these guys on their like with their crazy numbers right now that are probably going to come down and get you something a little more consistent, a little better, a little younger, something like that. I
Bro,
just what's up?
what's up with Mackenzie Weegar? going off.
Yeah, the dude's going off, man.
Wasn't he the guy I grabbed last year who wasn't anything?
Yeah, the last year was his
And he
breakout
broke
year.
out at the
Yep,
end.
and he's looks like he's kept it
Wow.
up, man. He's doing
Number
great.
7 defenseman.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
insane.
I didn't know he was. I just figured he was just doing okay.
No, yeah, he's great, man. I was
Holy
surprised too
crap.
to see that. He looks like he's a top D man.
That's crazy. I also wanted to ask you about the Blackhawks, and are they actually going on a run now? Or is it too little too late?
I still think it's too little too late. They're just kind of fucking around, man. I don't know.
I thought they just won 3 in a row.
They have, but they were on a little bit of a losing streak before that. I don't know. It's going to be very hard for them to get back in it. I really want them.
What do they need? West.
I don't know what exactly they need. I think they might need a little bit better defenseman, and Seth Jones has been out too with COVID this week, so that hasn't helped. But
Where are we in the standings? I don't see us.
Yeah, they're pretty low.
What division are we?
The Central.
I just can't. Oh my god, we're so low. We've won 4 in a row though.
Yeah.
They've
won 4 in a row. I don't know. I think it's unlikely that anything's going to happen.
38 points.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's games played. Where's our points? Does it go by points or wins? I thought it went
by points.
Also showing that. So we have 35. Oh, we only have 35 points. Jeez.
Yeah. No, they had such a bad start to the year. They just dug themselves that huge hole,
Yeah, they're not. Okay.
They'd have to go.
Hope.
Yeah, I mean, if they were in a different division, I could give them a small chance. But look at all the teams ahead of them are all good teams. The Central Division is one of the best is the best division in the NHL. Mm-hmm. You got the Avalanche, you got the Predators, the Blues, the Wild, Winnipeg Jets, Dallas Stars. Like they have to leapfrog 4 good teams to make it in.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks that they dug themselves such a big hole. I mean, they could still finish and having a fun season, watching Patrick Kane again. But I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs badly.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just already come to terms with it. It's okay.
So, but now that we built some chemistry and we have now Fleury's found how to play with us.
Yeah.
I think next year is Taves going to improve? What's up with Taves?
Yeah, Taves. Obviously, they need Taves to play like Taves, and they also need Kirby Dach to play like he was worthy.
Out, right?
Well, they need him to play like been worthy of the 3rd overall pick that he was. So far, he has not looked like a franchise-changing player like you're expecting to get when you draft someone that high.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just been pretty disappointed with Kirby Dach this year. I thought this was going to be his breakout season, and he's still so young. He's only 20 years old, so I'm not going to give up on him. If he's not going to improve, then the Blackhawks aren't going to improve. This when he starts his breakout season, he's going to help the Blackhawks look a lot better for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll move on now. I got a short list here of streaming options for this week. Definitely a guy you can stream, Erik Gustafsson, because Seth Jones is out in COVID protocol. Erik Gustafsson is getting the first power play time, and he's already scored a few assists since he got promoted. Looking good. So definitely stream him until Seth Jones comes back, and then you can, drop him for whatever. But right now, he's definitely worth a stream if you need a defenseman.
Okay.
And then very similarly to that, Ty Smith on the New Jersey Devils, he's getting top power play right now because both Dougie Hamilton and Damon Severson are on the COVID protocol now. Or Damon Severson's in the COVID protocol. Dougie Hamilton is out for the next couple months with his jaw surgery that he just had. So Hamilton won't be back for a long time. Severson will be back soon, but right now Ty Smith is getting that first power play time. Definitely a guy to be streaming this week and possibly next week. And then also Jeff Skinner. This is a guy. He's really just a pure goal scorer. I don't think that I was debating on whether or not to put him in the scoop him up list. But I'm not going to go that far because I just feel like if the matchup is right for Buffalo, if they're playing like a team that is not playing a great starting goalie or something, or they're playing like a lower level team, Jeff Skinner's a guy that you can pick up if you need some points, if you want to bet on a goal. Jeff Skinner's a guy that you can pick up for just like one night and hope that he gets you a goal. I think that's kind of where we're at with Skinner. It seems, if the matchup is right, he's a good bet most nights to score a goal. So just pick him up and take the chance, but I don't think he's a guy that you want to hold on your team. He's just not good enough for that.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, just keep those three names in mind. Eric Gustafson, Ty Smith, Jeff Skinner. And then we'll move on to scoop him up here.
Hell yeah, let's get those scoops.
Got a couple guys. So we've been mentioning this guy like all season, Robert Thomas. He's just a guy that needs to be picked up. All he does is keep scoring, scoring at a point per game level. He should be owned. He's owned by me, and he's helping me win. People are dropping him. I don't know why that is.
Okay.
But
would his scoring be different in other leagues? Or
no, because he's getting points and assists. Like he has 30 points in 31 games. I mean, you don't get that on the waiver wire usually. Okay. I just think it's crazy that he's been
pretty hot.
Yeah, he's been doing great, and he's getting a lot of ice time. He's one of their better players. They give him a lot of run. I just think that he should be in like at least the 75% owned by now. But, he's still out there, and I was able to pick him up and add him to my team. He's been helping me. I have no desire to drop him. He just should be owned. I'm gonna keep putting him on here until he's at least 50% owned.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
Yeah, so just go get Robert Thomas. Chances are you have somebody doing worse on your team than Robert Thomas is. So,
okay.
And then also Trevor Moore. He made my surprises at the beginning of the episode because he just had a really good week. Look at this guy in our if you have the fantasy app pulled up, Jake. Trevor Moore. Look at his last couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I have it pulled up right. I'm looking at him.
Yeah, he's just
6 assists, 2 in the last 3 games.
Yeah, he's been looking good, and then and then on January 1st he had a 4-point game, and that was kind of like the start of like this kind of breakout little thing that he's showing here.
Okay.
Young player on the Kings. They're just kind of bringing all their young guys up and just saying, well, let's see what we can do here. They're just bringing all the young guys up, and he's looking really good. They're giving him some ice time. They have him, I think, on the second line, getting a little bit of power play time. I think this is a nice bet where this is at the very least, drop him if he starts doing nothing. But this guy could be like a breakout, mid-year breakout hold for the rest of the season. He's looking like it so far. So I would just pick him up now and just see what happens with it. And then similarly, Victor Arvidsson, he's starting to come into his own on LA.
Okay.
I've mentioned this guy a couple times too this season.
He's got 3.1 average.
Yeah, he's got a 3.1 average. He did have kind of a slow like month in like December, but he's picked it back up here in January, having a couple multi-point games, just scoring almost every game. I think he's on looks like he's on a 3-game point streak right now. Getting ice time, he's getting power play time. He's doing good in most league formats. Definitely a guy you should be picking up. He's only 15% rostered. I think that's too low. He should be owned.
Okay.
So, and then Blake Coleman.
I don't know how he's not on. I'm gonna go grab him.
Yeah, he was
honestly.
just. I want to know why he was dropped. He was just dropped by a couple days ago by Eric in our league, but
Oh, well, maybe
he
his minutes are like not
the minutes are
super
weird,
high.
but like he just scored 2 points in his last game. Well, not
Hmm.
his last game, but 2 games ago. But he's starting to turn his season around. Like he was a drafted player in most league formats, and he just started super slow, and he pissed a lot of people off. But he's starting to do a little better over the last like month. Definitely should be
Yeah.
owned. The guy does a lot. He doesn't just score. He hits and shoots and blocks and everything. So he's a guy that's helpful in a lot of formats.
Gotcha.
Definitely should be scooped up.
Okay.
And then Igor Sharon Govich, another young player on the New Jersey Devils. He's playing on the second line with Jack Hughes right now, and they have him on the second power play as well. And he's looking pretty good over the last week or so. Um,
Okay.
Definitely think that you could add him, and it might just be like a couple week thing, and he might go back, might not do anything more after that. But this could be another season long hold thing if he has good chemistry going with Jack Hughes. He's on a little bit
Hmm.
of a point streak, looking good. And then Alexander Kerfoot, he's on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's looking really good. They have him on the second line right now. They swapped him and Ilya Mishiev, so now Mishiev is down on the third line, and they have Kerfoot on the second line, and Kerfoot's on kind of a nice little point streak right now, and they have him on the second power play. He's looking
Hmm.
really good. You could pick him up. He could be a potential hold if he keeps this up. I'm still going to bank on Mishiev. I like that player. I hope that he finds his footing and he stays, up with the big guys.
Hmm.
Um, and then Connor Murphy on the Blackhawks. He's definitely good in a banger league. So if you're in a league that
Yeah.
counts like
Yeah.
hitting stats, definitely a guy to consider. That average is slowly climbing up. He's getting a ton of ice time, so you don't have to
Hmm.
worry about that. He's just very solid. He'll never get you nothing. He'll get you those hits and blocks and all of that stuff. Doesn't shoot it a
Like
ton.
a deep league guy, I thought.
Definitely a very deep league guy. If you need a defenseman, he's not terrible because he'll get you those hitting points. So, and
Hmm.
then Calvin DeHaan, similarly on the Blackhawks, another guy that's more valuable in a banger league. Um,
Yeah. Definitely.
looking good over the last couple of weeks. Another guy that never gets you nothing. He gets you a ton of hits. Um, and then not a ton of shots on goal, but like another deep league move that you could make if you really need a defenseman or somebody. You can consider it, but I think Calvin DeHaan is definitely a very deep league move. If you're choosing between him and Connor Murphy, I'd bank on Connor Murphy. But
Okay.
yeah, those are just some deep defensemen that you can look at if you're really in need of defensemen.
Hmm.
And then yeah, if you have anything else, Jake, that you were thinking of, any other players you're looking at?
I was trying to look through. I mean, we do kind of a deep league, I feel, but
Yeah.
did we hit any goalies this week? I know last week we didn't hit on some we wanted to hit on. It looks like there's a lot of goalies being picked up, like Jake Odinger, the young guy in Dallas. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Aiden Hill on San Jose. He's been playing like every game as the starter hurt.
Yeah, I think he kind of is the starter. Right
Okay,
now, I think
well,
yeah, because I think the main guy did get hurt, but yeah,
yeah,
he's
Aiden
looking
Hill's
looking looking
okay.
kind of decent. Yeah. So Aiden Hill
Somebody you
would be
can stream at
definitely a guy to
least.
stream. Jake Attinger for sure.
Hmm.
They're starting to give him more starts.
I mean, he
Uh,
had a bad start last start, but
yeah.
I don't know. He could get, yeah, like you said, he could start getting more. Looks like
Mm-hmm.
he's still kind of splitting though a little bit. I mean, who would be the number one goalie to grab right now if you had to grab one?
You could look at, I think, Pavel Francouz right now is a good guy to think about because he's on Colorado. Usually he's going to walk into some good stats, I think.
Okay.
He's a guy that I'm really looking at.
What about this Carol Vajramelka, Arizona Coyotes? He started like 4 games in a row that he did pretty dang good, and he started yesterday and didn't do as good.
Okay.
You seen this guy?
Carol Vajramelka?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing this.
Is he like a rookie or something? There's not even a picture.
Yeah, I think he is a rookie.
Okay.
Looks okay. Looks like he's more of a real deep league. He lets in a lot of goals, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The Arizona's just so shit that I don't know that I would really put him out there.
Looks like Matt Murray just got back and he's starting out hot too. That could be a stream.
Yeah, Matt Murray could be a stream. Ottawa's looking a little bit better defensively this year.
Okay.
Definitely you'd be taking a chance with Matt Murray because he does have a tendency. He can let up a lot of goals. So that's definitely a risky move, but you could do it if you thought it was a good matchup.
Yeah.
Just a lot of guys right now that are available that are good streaming options if they're playing a favorable matchup type thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. There's not much there. Pretty barren.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that about does it for me. Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope we were able to help you with something this week.
Yeah, hopefully that helped. And did you want to hit that schedule at all? Or
oh shoot, the schedule.
I can call it out real quick.
Okay.
If you want.
So Anaheim Ducks look like they have the worst schedule this week, one of the worst. They're only playing 2 games, and they're against Colorado and Tampa Bay, so yeah, stay away from us. And stay away from the Anaheim Ducks goalies for sure. Calgary Flames have 2 games against Florida and Edmonton. Yikes. Yeah. And yeah, those are the. And then the Vegas Golden Knights have 2 games against Pittsburgh and Montreal. But just that's not a terrible schedule though. Vegas is a pretty good team, so I think you could still look at it, even though it's only 2 games. You could still look at whoever the backup goalie is if they're going to give a backup goalie a start for one of those. But
yeah.
And then pretty much everybody else is 3 games, 4 games. So this is a very heavy week. So there should be plenty of guys to choose from. Just, look through the schedule. Pretty much every other team is besides Anaheim, Calgary, and Vegas has 3 or 4 games and a lot of back-to-backs this week. So there's tons of opportunity for backup goalies. So just take a look at the schedule. There are so many options that you have for backup goalies to get starts.
Okay.
Just a ton.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So with that'll wrap her up, I think. Thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it. Yeah, and just go find us on all our social media. We got Facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. We have Instagram.com/Garden of Sports. We have Twitter.com/GOSPod 2021. And we just really appreciate all your guys' support.
Yeah, shit, we gotta change that tag, huh?
What's that?
We gotta change that Twitter tag, so now it's 2022.
Yeah, if you want to go try and change it, be my guest. Nothing that I type, nothing that I would put for that would work. Everything was taken.
No worries. All right. Well, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
See you next week.
Yep.